This is how it is today. This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield. This is how it is. This is how it is. Today on Pop Culture Minefield. Today on Pop Culture Minefield.
Today's episode is brought to you by Trump eating Biden's ice cream. Welcome to the show, everybody. Delicious. I'm going to tell you, man,
I'm speechless.
this is my favorite drink of all time is Arizona tea. I
You
was
got me
never
hooked on that, Gerry.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's green tea with ginseng in it. And boy, oh boy, it is so
It's
good.
so good. I miss it.
Yummy. It's yummy in my tummy. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I lick your ice cream.
What?
I lick it up.
There you go.
Stop being so weird, Shanatsky. Jesus.
That's like you asking me not to be weird. It's just impossible.
I know.
Can we turn off the banner for a little bit, buddy? Just pop it up every once in a while. Thanks. So I worked on that wonderful little lower bar. It looks so awesome. So everybody, welcome to the show. Today we have 7 already joining us. We have just put out the notifications that we are live now. So hopefully we'll have people falling in as we go. In fact, let me go look and see if is the video playing yet on Twitter.
Yes, it
It
is.
should be.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
There it is. I'm going to click like. I'm going to click share. And I'm going to say, going live now. Boom. There it is. So, yes. Yes. There it is, guys. We are live right now on Twitter, YouTube, and Rumble. 3 of our favorite places. Well, 2 of our favorite places to go. YouTube is sadly lost that privilege with us. I see that Penny is here. I see that Snortopupus is here. Hello. And
Hey,
our
Snorty.
good friend Andy Morrow is here. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. We're going to be talking about a film that is in my top 10 favorite films of all time. It's not in the top 5, but it is in the top 10. The top 5 are occupied by Ridley Scott and John Carpenter. So this one, I think this is either 6th or 7th. I have to go back and look at the list. I think it's 6th. And it is just a fantastic movie. And we watch Anima and I are just enjoying ourselves watching making of videos today, behind the scenes stuff, including interviews with cast and crew. And it was so much fun to listen to him talk to him about stuff. And there was like one thing that because like I actually went not into, but right by, and I stopped and wanted to go in the actual theater that became Eros Theater. When I went by there, it was still a cartoon theater where they would have cavalcade videos from classic cartoons, and you can just watch them all day long. They're always running. And it was a nice little theater. And somewhere between my being there and when they shot the movie, because remember, he actually says that, John Landis says he had seen that theater and been in it. And when he came back to shoot the film, it was now called the Eros. They showed adult films. So it gave him an even better idea. Read by Nature, what is up? Good to see you, man.
Did you read?
Let me see if anybody said anything I needed to read, but all it's just your generalized greetings. So I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I know we are. Anima and I got to hang out for a little bit and watch all those making of videos. Did you enjoy that, Anima?
Yeah. You know, I
That was
love doing
fun.
that. That's part of my preparation for shows is going on YouTube and just looking for behind the scenes stuff. I love that.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to bring up something really important that I had forgotten about, but thanks to one of those videos, I remembered it. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. If not for Rick Baker, there would be no makeup award at the Oscars. It was this movie that brought that about.
Right.
But the problem is what they ran into, because by the time they got to The Thing, they kind of pulled back a little bit because they said, well, wait a minute. This is for makeup, but some of the stuff you guys are doing isn't makeup. It's full prosthesis and or puppets and animatronics. And so they really had to change it over the years, what could be nominated and what couldn't be nominated. A film had to have practical makeup effects on an actual person and not just a puppet. Because there are puppets in this movie too, as there were also in The Thing. Instead of letting us watch this film as a kid, I must have watched most of it from behind the knees. Yeah, my favorite place, Reed, and I know that there are a lot of other people who tell me the same thing, hiding behind the couch. I would get behind the couch to watch horror films.
That's a safe space. Everybody knows that. You're safe from everything behind the couch.
First time I saw the Daleks, it was in Peter Cushing's first Doctor Who in the Daleks movie. And those things freaked me out the way they talked, you know, that they emphasize on vowels that they go up at the end. We are going. And I'm like freaked out by that as a kid. When I got older, it's like, I kind of get it. You know, the psychology of going up like that at the end is disorienting and scary as shit. And
I know this movie is considered to be horror, but I almost think that you could define it as a dark comedy.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is.
So let's not more.
Before the movie came out, we started seeing teasers in the trailer. And the first teaser said, from the director who brought you Animal House comes an animal of another kind. I'm telling you, they were really playing on it. And it kind of pissed Landis off that, you know, they were promoting it as a comedy. And when he went to the first showing of it, 100 people walked out. About 1,000 people, 100 walked out. So 1/10 of the audience walked out. The first time it got gory. And he was trying to make sure that people understand that there is comedy in this. Absolutely. I love this movie for its comedy. But there's gore and violence in this movie. People get ripped apart. And but still there's heartfelt comedy in it. Good comedy. Some of it's, you know, and it's also a drama. There's a little bit of drama to it because, as with the original Wolfman movie with I just forgot his name. Oh my God. The great makeup artist's son, Lon Chaney Jr., even though that really wasn't his legal name. He adopted that name for film. He was the tragic hero, not the villain of the film. The villain is the person who turned him into this. And of course, he has a tragic end. Falls in love, all that stuff, but for naught because he has to die. Griffin Dunn, and Griffin was terrified of this film, Andy, because when he got there and they started showing him the makeup, he's like, nobody's going to see my performance. They're just going to be looking at this gore. And Rick Baker and the team were like, did you not read the fucking script? It's in the script, you know. But the one that really broke him, almost broke him, was when he gets to the theater scene and finds out he's not doing the makeup, even though they made makeup for him. It didn't look right to Rick Baker. So he said, we're going to use the puppet. But to make it up to him, he allowed Griffin Dunn to handle the part that moves the mouth so he could match his own lips. So he was delivering the dialogue live right there on the set and working the mouth of the puppet. Yeah, well, as they started working on the newer Doctor Who stuff all the way up till it went to shit and we stopped watching, they had multiple actors imitating him. So that way you would have different tones. But it was one actor for decades that did the voice. And I'm sorry to hear he died, Reed, because that guy, he nailed it, man. He scared the fucking shit out of me. He not only did the voice of the Daleks on the TV series back in the 60s, he also voiced the Daleks in the movie adaptation of the series, the overall story arc of him and the Daleks. And the second was also an adaptation of the series. The big difference being Doctor Who was his name, and he was from Earth in the movies. Had to be here to talk American. Werewolf.
Yeah.
Goddamn right, Vic. This is not only one of the best horror films ever made, it's, in my opinion, in my top 10. I do believe, I have to go back to the list. It's either number 6 or number 7 on my list of favorite films of all time, and it will never be displaced. This movie had that profound of an impact on me. I was still a kid when it came out, and my dad had to take me, but my dad he could not, for all my problems with my dad really did try to get me things I really was passionate about. And one of them was going to the movies, and he would take me to the movies to see movies he had no interest in watching just because he knew I was going to enjoy it. And he took me to 3 films over that period of a year. And one of them was Escape from New York, and then The Howling, and this one. Now, The Howling we saw at the Virginia theaters, which is owned by RC Chain. And this one we saw at the Colonial Theater, the same theater I saw Escape from New York. And I think that theater made it better because it's a much darker theater. The curtains are dark, burgundy red, and you just felt like you were captured into that movie while you're watching it. Yes, I was going to show something about that because when we start getting into it, I'm going to point out certain things. There's some great actors in this movie that are known for other things, and we'll get into that.
And like a lot of the great dramas, the movie is ultimately all about death.
Yeah, take that down. That's the one I was just addressing. I'm ahead of you. Oh, Zax is here. Oh no. Okay. Is your family there with you? So I have to watch my language, or can I say mean things about you? Which one? You choose.
But Gerry, is this movie as good as Howling 3?
I'm not even going to fucking address that. Look, the first Howling is pretty good. It is pretty good. And just to let you know, first of all, Rick Baker was attached to the effects for the Howling. And John Landis got word that he was greenlit to make an American Werewolf in London. So Rick Baker was already committed to that personally because, he's his best friend. So he goes over to work on that and turns the visual effects for the Howling over to his protege, best known for his work on The Thing. And I just forgot his name. What is his name? Oh my God. I'm going to go to IMDb. He's disappeared, by the way. The last thing he supposedly worked on, it's rumored, there's no proof he worked on it, was Game of Thrones. And, oh, good Lord. Let me get over there.
How can he disappear like that?
He just walked away from it. Some people were wondering, did he pass away? But, there have been sightings of him. He's like Bigfoot now. Rob Bottin. So Rob Bottin was Rick Baker's protege. And so he left Bottin in charge of the Howling, which is why there are two similarities between the Howling and American Werewolf, not just because it's werewolf films, but the bladder effects was something Rick Baker had established already to be used on the Howling, and the stretching of the snout. They both did the same thing, where as he transforms from human to animal, they found a way to make a mask that they could stretch the face on. And they weren't, even though silicone rubber was available at this time, silicone was not really being used in this kind of effects. It was either latex or the foam rubber they'd use. And what Rick Baker ended up doing, and we just watched this, where he talked about that, they had tried to get it as gelatinous as possible, where if they had gone any thinner on it to stretch, it would have just turned back to liquid, which is eventually what it did. He said that foam rubber would eventually become liquid again because it was so thin, but it got the job done for the film. And that is, like I said, that was just for the stretching. Tom, what is up? Yeah, Rob Bottin, motherfucker. So, and Rob Bottin is just one of my favorites. And right after he supposedly worked on Game of Thrones for the king's death, the young king, when he got poisoned, he disappeared. He never leaves his home. He's become Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys, just sleeping in his bed all day.
Or Brian Blessed.
Oh, I love Brian Blessed. Did we lose him? Because
No.
I've been.
His birthday was recently.
I know we're going to lose him eventually, but that guy is just so amazing as an actor, and I fucking love his stories. That guy, when he's telling stories, they're some of the best stories I've ever heard. And people who talk shit about him, well, he didn't make it all the way up Mount Everest. I'm like, well, he went up with fucking lung disease. So how far have you gone up Mount Everest? Only people who should talk shit about him is the people who made it to the top, fucker. So anyway, this film brought about two young actors. David Naughton was best known for being in the Dr. Pepper commercials, singing and dancing. And does anybody remember those? I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, we're a pepper, she's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper. So that was what he was known for. And they picked him because he was kind of an unknown. Other than that commercial, nobody knew who the hell he was. And they end up getting this other guy who's the son of a great writer named Griffin Dunn. Dominic Dunn is his dad. His sister, Griffin Dunn's sister, is the older sister from Poltergeist, who was murdered in real life. And that led Dominic Dunn down that path of investigating murders and writing about them. An amazing family, very talented. And Griffin is picked to play his, the best friend in this. So you've got David Naughton playing David Kessler, and you've got Griffin Dunn playing Jack Goodman, two Jewish students on vacation in the middle of shitty fucking, well, it's Wales is where they shot, but it's supposed to be the Highlands up near Scotland. And beware the moors. And you've got some amazing actors at the beginning of this film that they meet in that bar, that pub, the Slaughtered Lamb, which if you look, you can see is right up there in the corner. I have the Slaughtered Lamb logo. So I fucking love that logo, that sign. And they go in there to get a little respite and maybe get something to drink, get a little warm. And they're not wanted there. And one of my favorites is David Schofield, who plays the dart player in that. He says, when they bring up, what's that pentagram on the wall there, and he misses his target. He goes, you made me miss my throw. I'll never miss my throw. And we saw a little interview with him where he was in the tube, as they call it, the underground in London, waiting for his train. He was all alone. And then suddenly there was a guy standing in front of him, looking down at him in the seat, and it made him very uncomfortable. And the guy says, "You made me miss my shot. It's you." And he's like, "Yeah, it's me. It's me. Please don't murder me." So you got these two unknown actors as the heroes, David Naughton and Griffin Dunne. Now, an ironic bit of twist of fate, they discover while they're making the film that they grew up 2 blocks away from each other. Same age, they knew all the same people, never met. Not that they were aware of. And they went to the same school, same grade. I thought that was a neat story. And they became very chummy because of this film. But Griffin Dunne was kind of behind the scenes. I'm not going to say he was being a pain in the ass, but I would find somebody doing what he did being a pain in the ass. They kept like griping because they had to be behind makeup and shit. Oh, video stopped for me. Oh, there, finally started. Peter Guber and John Peters. Now, how do we know those two names?
I don't.
I don't either.
Nobody knows. My goodness, man. He was involved with a lot of films. The Deep, Vision Quest, Midnight Express, Young Blood, Tango and Cash, The Witches of Eastwick. This guy was just all over the place. Gorillas in the Mist. And I love Vision Quest, by the way. It was my other favorite film with Matthew Modine. And he produced this film. And he did Flashdance. And Batman 1989, for God's sake.
Was he like the reporter guy?
Yes, Superman John Peters. John Peters and Peter Guber had associations with Warner Brothers superhero films. Thank you, Read by Nature. You nailed it. What? Hologram. What's he talking about here?
No idea.
I don't think I
Polygram.
mentioned any. I didn't. Polygram Pictures? What are we talking about?
I
don't know
think
what
it's joking about one of the production companies. The name
Oh,
is Poly something.
Polygram. Yeah. Well, Polygram was known for its music, but they also got into the film business. They had a separate branch called Polygram Pictures. I wonder if Tom's going to pop in. Did anybody send him an invite?
I sent him an invite.
Kind of a dick. I don't know.
He's in the group anyway. I
Yeah.
posted invites to all the groups, so.
Yeah, I don't know much about him by his bio or anything, but I know what he was associated with.
They're so youthful and carefree. Nothing bad's gonna happen to them. Nothing bad at all.
And by the way, if you were wondering who John Peters is the notorious guy that they keep trying to push away from Superman. He's the one that wanted the giant spider fight that Kevin Smith wrote the script for between Superman with Nicolas Cage.
What was it? Brainiac was supposed to kill a polar bear as well. I remember that part. It's like, why is this happening? It's like, oh, he was like watching the Discovery Channels first. Kevin Smith could tell. Like,
By the way, Rita, I'd heard that too, that he had been the hairdresser to Barbra Streisand and to a few other stars.
is that how you become like super powerful? You just keep doing celebrities' hair. So they go, I like you. I'm just going to give you a job. Directing my next movie.
Wait a minute. Brian, what? Brian narrates his own biography. It's wild. What are we talking about there, Reed? Wait a minute.
What, Blessed or?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's it. Brian Blessed. Oh, he dated Streisand too? I bet that was a hell of a BJ, that fucking giant mouth.
Oh my goodness.
And then she transformed into Mecha Streisand after.
Mecha Streisand.
What the hell?
What's
fucking love
wrong
the
with
way
you
they-
guys?
Dude,
I fucking love that South Park episode. I can't help it.
Oh no, me too, dude. Me too. Absolutely love that.
And they have the guy kaiju singing Barbara, Barbara, Barbara.
Yeah, Robert Smith has to fight her. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
So these two have a great rapport with one another. And it's because before shooting, they found out a lot about each other and they became very chummy. So it comes through. But the funny thing is there's really very little to no ad-libbing in this film, because pretty much all the funny shit that these two say to one another is in the script.
That's good. It means it was
That's how
well
good a
written.
writer John Landis was. So in this scene, you've got some interesting actors. Like I said, you've got Brian Glover, for God's sakes. That guy is in so much shit. He was also in Alien 3, as I recall, wasn't he?
A lot of
Yes.
British people were in Alien 3.
yes, he was the guard,
Yeah.
the warden of the prison.
The warden, that's right. Though he's part of the prison. He's in the prison, but he was the warden elected. Yeah, Alien 3, he played Andrews. He was in that crazy movie with Jeremy Irons, Kafka. We've never seen that movie. Holy crap. Smoke some weed so it makes sense. He's been in so many. To Kill a Priest with Christopher Lambert and what's his name? Glenn. God, I can't think of his name. Let's see. He was a regular in Doctor Who. The Company of Wolves. Oh my God. Their amorous boy's father. He was so good in that role. So many good films, man. He's always spitting when he talks. Then you got David Schofield, who plays the dart player in it. And that guy's still in fucking movies and TV shows over there. I think he is. He's still alive, I hope. Yep. Still kicking.
How old is he?
And he is in, he would be in his 80s, I would think. He was born in 51. No, he would be in his 70s. So he's in right now Hotel Portofino. And let's see. He was in that crazy film from 2022, Mad Heidi, which is just ridiculous, but it's good, but
That
it's
sounds
ridiculous.
wrong.
It is. It's wrong. He's a regular on the Doctor Who Monthly Adventures. Let's see.
So you see who else is in this movie in a very, very little role?
Rick Mail is
Alan-
in it.
Alan Ford, the guy who played Bricktop in Snatch. He
Oh,
plays
no
a cabbie.
shit.
He plays a cabbie in here.
He's in this? I don't remember
Yes.
seeing him in it. Holy
Because
crap.
you only see him for about 3 seconds.
But Rick Mail, of course, we lost him in 2014. A very good actor, but also very funny actor. Most people will remember him for The Young Ones because he played Rick in it. He was also in one of my daughter's favorite movies of all time, Drop Dead Fred, which I love the movie too. I enjoy the crap out of that flick, despite the bad
Yeah.
effects.
I don't care.
And
We should have done this for the Halloween season. I
What
know it's not a Halloween theme, but
what?
Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, we'll do it. We'll do it, but not for Halloween. Man Down was a series that I tried to get Anima to watch, and she's like, I do not find this funny. So
I don't even
it's
remember trying to watch that.
it's a
What's it about?
show by Greg Davies. You know how much I love that guy because he's so fucking funny with his stories. And it's a story about when he was teaching. And it's fictionalized version, but everything is based and everyone's based on real people and the way they act. And he got Rick to play his dad. And it was while making that show that he passed away. And so in the show, they had him that father died, even though in real life he was still alive. So, but there's Schofield right there. That's David Schofield with the darts. You made me miss my shot. I never miss my shot. Ah, there he is. That's Brian Glover. Great actor. She's really good in this too. And I don't know who the hell she is, but I've seen her in other stuff. And there's Glover again. Great fucking actor. Him and his wart on his face. The wart alone won several awards.
Gee.
So they get kicked out for asking about the pentagram. So they're back out on the road and they're given one warning. What was the warning, guys?
Stay out of the
Down the
moors.
road.
Beware the moon. Stay off the moors and stick to the road. And it leads to and stick to there he goes and stick to the road. And they look down and they realize they're on the moors. I vote we go back to the slaughter lamb. Oh shit, David, what was that? Charlie, Bruce, and I, whenever we would leave WFEA in the middle of the night to go to the 7-Eleven, we had to walk about a mile from the radio station to the 7-Eleven to get like something to drink or snack on. And we would always do the lines from this because we'd be out there walking along a dirty road, open fields to our left. At least reminded us of this fucking movie. It's circling us. Oh my God. This scene is so intense. And they're being funny. And by the way, that was the other thing I wanted to point out. What inspired John Landis to do this was while he was making Kelly's Heroes, he was an actor stuntman on that film. And he was, 19, I think he was, Anima, he said, when he wrote that. He wrote this script while over there in Yugoslavia because the place is so weird. They ran into gypsies and it was fucking crazy. And he said this was all inspired by what he experienced while making that film.
Oh, the funeral that they witnessed.
Yeah, the way they bury them head first with the feet up.
And it's
is
so normal
based
to
on
them, and to him
truth.
it was weird.
Yeah. And I loved his telling of how they came about to making this film. And he was already friends with Rick Baker when he turned 20. And they made Schlock together. And he showed him the script. And he's like, nobody's ever done anything like this where you do an entire transformation in one shot. And he was already years before they made him, 10 years before they made the film, already planning how they were going to try to do this. I love that shit. And also, John Landis, thanks to his cinematographer, created false moonlight. You see the light coming through the fog behind them? They had a series of lights, very high intensity lights, then a sheet put over them or in front of them. And it really does replicate the look of moonlight at night. They did a fantastic job with this film. And other films borrowed from that. They learned the same thing and went and did it. And that's how you replicate moonlight in a film at night. Because he didn't want to do the day for night shit.
Thank
That
God.
was one thing he made clear. I want to shoot the night scenes at night because you shouldn't be able to see so far. And there's something out there. And if you do day for night, you'll be able to see. Hey, Adam McGrath is here. And RRTNZ is here. See who else popped in.
Long time no see our
Of course, Tim is here. Give Tim his video.
Yes, give me a second, and we'll be on that.
And give Zach's his video too.
Let me take this down. And
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me... No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Yeah, I fucked with him last night.
What did you do?
for sex.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
Fuck you, Kyle Zacks.
From the heart, Kyle. From the heart. No, last night you were here, hon, when I kept interrupting before he said his name, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Like 3 times, being a dick. So Hell Just Lurking, I saw this when I was 12, a disturbing classic. Landis is not a nice man, though. I think he's a very creative guy. And here's just to get into it. I believe Steven Spielberg is more to blame for what happened on the Twilight Zone
Look
than
who's here.
Landis is. Oh God, it's Tom. Oh, we can't see him. I gotta.
You bring him.
Oh, he's on. You just can't see him, so I'm going to bring him up so you can see him. There he is.
Hi,
Hi.
Tom.
There we go.
I don't have long. I'm waiting for my folks to come help me fix my car, but thought I'd pop in for a minute and say hi and show you something neat.
Oh, cool beans! Cool beans.
The
What you
fine
got?
folks over at Turbine, who are working on the Hellraiser Judgment 4K that we our commentary and a few other things are going to be on that we worked with Gerry Tunnicliffe on. Just to, put out this amazing set a few years back. And it's just really cool. It comes with a soundtrack, all kinds of like lobby cards and other things like that. Here's
So not just isolated soundtrack, but the soundtrack.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I also even have
Slaughtered Lamb
coasters,
coasters.
Like a nonstop orgy.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. And then just like it looks like a mirror, like the. And then just the posters in here and all kinds of cool stuff. So no, it's just a great set. And of course, it's in the U.S. You can get it on 4K, I think, from Arrow, if I'm not mistaken. But,
there would be an
show
irony
that off real quick.
if you couldn't get it in the
I'm going to get that this payday.
Good luck. It's hard to find.
I hope somebody has it on eBay or Amazon.
There's 2 different versions of it. I don't know which one. If you might be able to get one of them cheaper than the other, but yeah. Turbine is who put it out. It's an import from Germany, I think they are.
What region is it in?
The 4K is region free, but the Blu-rays are region B or C. I can't remember which. Yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking. What were we talking about? I forgot. I've lost my train of thought.
Of the Day for Night.
We were talking about how the cinematographer had developed this lighting technique. This is the first time it got used in film, of having multiple bright lights then covered by a sheet held up really high above where they were shooting. And it is the single best thing I've ever seen for doing night shooting and trying to make it look like moonlight. And do you know anything about that, Tom?
No, it sounds like you pretty much got it figured out. So,
well, other people have borrowed from this film. There are so many things that this film brought to entertainment, which is one, it brought the makeup to the Oscars. It was the first one to be nominated, Rick Baker. But it led to complications later because of The Thing, and they learned that not all of it was makeup. They learned that some of that stuff is not prosthesis, but actual animatronics and puppets. And that caused a change in how they did special effects makeup. That from that point forward after The Thing. But this scene is meant to be so vicious. And the other thing is, it shows David running from his friend. And it's such an emotional moment when he hears his friend screaming, being mauled by this werewolf. And it makes him turn around and go right back into hell after him, but he's dead. And then he gets attacked, and as he's laying there, they shoot the werewolf as it's attacking him, so he survives. And it's the guys from the Slaughtered Lamb. And then you see the werewolf become human. It's the first time you see it in the film. Now, that's all of them from the pub. Shouldn't have made me miss my shot. And now we move into him at the hospital, and this takes up a good chunk of this first act, the end of the first act. In the tube station, it was filmed at Tottenham Court Road Tube. Me and my buddy have ran down the exact same corridor. The guy gets chased down. Yes, I've been in that one too. The bar, he falls over by the escalator too. In fact, I spotted one of the sections there when he's down at the platform. I told my dad, we've been there. He goes, yep, that's where we were. I love tube posters, the underground posters. They're longer and short on top, longer wide, and saw some great posters while I was over there. In fact, I think I have one of the posters I saw. I went looking it up and I found it. Hope this isn't too big. Hopefully this will upload. Please upload. I saw it not only in the underground, I saw it on one of the bus stops there for the double-decker buses. Waiting for it to load. Yay. This dude did a great job as a doctor. He's the actual cop in this film, not the cops. Because he goes and does their job. Going back to the village. And by the way, that village still is there. Of course, it's just a house. And there was no fountain. That was made for the film. Oh, here it is. Here's the poster. Duel. And I saw that in the underground, and I saw that at the bus stops for the double-decker buses. They were promoting the crap out of there as a movie. Of course, they tell him now that his friend is dead, Jack. And that's Frank Oz, also known as Fozzie Bear and Bert from Sesame Street.
Miss Piggy.
Or Yoda.
Yep. Oh, hello. I'm so... Fozzie Bear. Wacka, wacka, wacka. So Frank
Don't
Oz.
forget Grover.
Yeah, Grover. I forgot about Grover. That's right. He did Grover. He acts like your typical jackass that works for the embassy. Ungrateful punk. And then, of course, when you see him the first day there at her flat in London, what's on TV but the Muppets?
I think Shanatsky's got to take off. I got to take off pretty soon too.
I gotta get
I'm
going.
good for a few
Take
more
care.
minutes, but yeah.
All right, Shanatsky. I'll see you later, buddy. Anything
guys.
you want to
Bye, Shan.
add? No? Okay. Tom, anything you want to add before you
Well,
go?
I really like the tone of how Landis was able to balance that horror and humor.
Well,
and
the
drama.
inspiration was from Abbott and Costello.
Right.
That you could watch those movies and there were still monster movies. They still were kind of scary at times because you actually felt like Lou Costello was in danger all the time. And they had that balance, and that's what he was inspired by.
And
to
I
do
mean,
the same thing.
It manages to make the movie more interesting as it's kind of funny that this is known as such a werewolf movie when really we don't see the werewolf, or the werewolf he only turns into the werewolf once, twice? I'm trying to remember now. Twice. Yeah, and in that respect, like it's hardly any parts in the film, like it's a very small portion of the film. Otherwise, the movie dwells mostly on the curse, right? Like the whole idea of what it means to be a werewolf and the person that you killed or the person that was, his buddies hanging around with him and the whole curse of being a werewolf and all that kind of business. Because that's something that I think a lot of werewolf films kind of ignore, as part of its roots, as far as where it comes from and what it's all supposed to be about, the curse of being a werewolf and all that business. But no, I think Landis managed to tap into the classic universal horror elements along with a modern spin that was very similar in a way of like what John Carpenter did with The Thing or what Cronenberg did with The Fly, but in a way that kind of because this is a horror film that's accessible to a lot of folks. Because like my dad is not a very big horror, like he hates horror, like flat out hates it. But this is one of those few movies where he's caught me watching and he's like, oh, I like this one. But he kind of looks at it as more of a comedy with, you know, some horror elements to it, right? If that makes sense. So it just depends on your taste. Like, I mean, most horror fans see it as a horror film with some comedy elements to it. You can see this from the dramatic romance point of view of
the comedy, because you and I've talked about this before. The comedy in this isn't a shtick. It's it's
character comedy. Yeah.
And that's what makes it so believable, because you and I know that we're like that in the way we talk about things. We, you know, you banter when you're friends, and that's where the comedy comes from. There's the comedy is also because, like Frank Oz, that scene in the hospital when he comes in there, what makes that so funny is he doesn't understand why this kid is not appreciative of what he's done. Like his friend is dead, I understand.
I mean, that's kind of why Landis hired a bunch of comedians, really. If you look at the movie, most of the lead players are kind of comedic actors, because comedic actors know how to play straight comedy. You take a dramatic actor and try to put them in comedy, they don't know how to do it.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because then they'll try to play it up and they'll try and act goofy and act silly, and then they're
and that's why Robin Williams is so good at both. You know, God rest his soul.
Well, he understands both. Yeah. I mean, there's those few random ones though that just don't get it. Sometimes it's the director too. Like a good example of this is like I recently watched Wes Craven's Vampire in Brooklyn, which is actually more Eddie Murphy's Vampire in Brooklyn. But you know, what Wes learned from making that movie was that trying to make something funny and trying to make the characters funny and trying to make things funny the way he was in that movie wasn't working. But when he did Scream, all the funny parts come out of the character moments, like a lot like this film, right? And they're very much the same way in that they tapped into a larger portion of the audience that goes beyond the horror films. And there's a lot of people that look at Scream as more of a satire or comedy than they do a horror film. And it's the same thing here with this film. Why? Because it plays with some of the tropes. But it also takes itself seriously. Ghostbusters is another one you can throw in here, and Fright Night is another great example of this. Where
and these cops, by the way, are the younger cop makes this so fucking funny because he's always uncomfortable and he's like buffoonish, and you know, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. He's one of those characters that's supposed to not know what to do with his hands. So he's always uncomfortable and awkward in every scene. I love that in this film. And again, pointing out that the doctor is a better investigator in this than the cops are. I also love these scenes where his dreams. Killing a deer in one, then going after Ginny Agutter in the other, and then the Yahtzees that attack his house. Oh, I think all of us that were kids in the 70s had a crush on her. I mean, Logan's Run in this one, she was just, gorgeous. And Logan's Run is another one, Tom, I intend to do on our channel sometime. I don't know if you've ever watched that film, but I love that movie.
Run, Logan, run.
Run, Logan, run. This scene is adorable with the kids. Landis, I think Landis is an underrated screenwriter. I really do. What is this? To dispute Tom, RDJ, and Tom Cruise are not comic actors, but are the funniest parts of Tropic Thunder.
Tom Cruise, I see where you're coming from, but I would disagree with RDJ. Almost all of his earlier parts were comedic.
Yep. All the way up to the one
probably
with
less
Rodney
than
Dangerfield.
Well, I was gonna say until he got into the more dramatic stuff, like trying to think of like
Less Than Zero.
I was just gonna say Less Than Zero, I think is the first real one I can think of.
Yeah. He was always the comical character.
Well, there's a difference between being a comedian and being able to act, being an actor who understands comedy, and being a dramatic actor who doesn't. right? Like that's what I'm kind of differentiating between here. Because there are those actors who just don't get it. You bring in guys like Frank Oz because they seem like character actors, but if you know who Frank Oz is, he's a creative improv / writer, director himself, actor, if you count the Muppets and other things like that, outside of just the cameos that he does for like Frank, for these kind of films and stuff. But Frank knows you got to play it straight, right? Like that. Another great example of Frank doing this is in the Blues Brothers, that opening scene with him, right?
Yep.
He's playing it completely 100% straight, right? And that's kind of the whole point, is the joke only works. Now, if you bring in a dramatic actor, they're going to try and ham it up. A good example of this is like somebody who doesn't quite get it when they're trying to do, like Sylvester Stallone is a very funny individual. He's extremely funny when he's playing sincere characters like Rocky, for instance. But now you put him in something like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, where he doesn't understand it, because the other times he's just acting natural and the humor's just coming to him naturally. I think he learned a big lesson from that movie, where it's like, no, this isn't working for me. Schwarzenegger, on the other hand, as long as he's working with somebody like Ivan Reitman, usually he can pull something out of him that's funny. But then you get to like Junior and stuff, and a lot of people didn't like that. So, I mean, there's certain actors who sometimes they can play funny, sometimes they can't. Danny DeVito, speaking of the Schwarzenegger connection, is a great example of an actor who can play all the ranges, right? He understands as a comedic
comedy
actor
and drama
that you have to play the comedy straight for it to work. So if you see him, he's one of those great actors who knows that. And
there's a good example in this film.
that's all I was
too.
trying to say. That's
in the underground scene when the guy gets chased in the first werewolf scene. There is a poster on the wall, and I showed it to Anima, of Airplane in the underground. It's on the tube wall. You can see it clearly in the background. Airplane. And Airplane is another film with the Zucker brothers and the Abrams. They basically wanted to get dramatic actors to play their characters.
Well,
straight.
that's the whole point of that, right? Yeah.
And that's what makes it funny, is they're taking their role seriously, even when it's fucking goofy as hell. Like the whole, it looks like I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue, to what's his name, pulling off one pair of sunglasses. Yeah. Oh, to that one, and I heard it recently that the kid actor said that he was very uncomfortable with him. And I'm like, well, some people don't like to be around kids. Oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. Look at her. Jenny Agutter.
And you had to cut out the best parts.
Yeah, it's like I'm hoping we see a little monkey Jeeves in this, covering up the niblets and stuff. I liked Renaissance Man. I mean, it's not the best film about military people, but I did like it. That's with Danny DeVito. Somebody brought it up in the chat. Read by Nature. Right there.
Oh, Danny's got a lot of undersung films. Other People's Money is another one that people slept on.
Was it where he sold tin roofing? Tin Man, wasn't it? Tin Men. About guys who sold tin roofing.
I believe.
Good film. Good film. Very dramatic. Yes, classic line. And by the way, it is a remake of 0 Hour. I have 0 Hour. It's a film I'll pop in every once in a while, just see just how fucking bad it was. Oh, this is the dream. Here we go. This is so fucking violent. I mean, they kill children in this scene. His kid brother and sister. Making him watch. And I think this is sort of a statement about, that they are him and he's going to be doing that and he's going to witness it. I think that was the statement of that scene. That he is going to commit crimes as this thing. Oh, yeah. The dream within a dream. I fucking hate those, dude. When they wake up, but they're not really awake. It's still the dream. who's that guy? Ruel or something like that made that film of an entire film of people waking up and not sure if they're awake. It's constantly dream worlds.
That's horrible.
Hey, more monkeys in the house.
More monkeys here. Where's Monkey Jeebus? We're lacking in monkeys today. By the way, when I was in the hospital in Phoenix, man, for 2 weeks, holy crap. They had a chef on duty. Amazing food. Yeah, she gets shot and flies out of frame. This is crazy. He's like thinking it's a dream. Like, there's no way you're here, Jack. And I don't know about you guys. When I saw this scene, I'm focused on the performance. I mean, I see the gore, but I'm not hyper focused on it. I'm watching his face
Yeah,
as he delivers these lines.
I didn't get that.
But he was worried that people would be looking at the flap of skin. And apparently there is a number of people who can't keep their eye on his face and keep looking at the flap of skin flapping around.
It's not that exciting. I mean, this is weird that people are so distracted by that.
Yeah, he talks about the funeral back in New York. Which they're not from New York. They're from Boston. Both of them. And like I said, they grew up within 2 blocks of each other. Same age. Went to the same school. Don't remember ever meeting.
Must have been a bigger school then.
And it is funny because you got an Irish kid and Naughton. I don't know if I think he's Irish too, playing Jewish kids. Kill yourself, David, before it's too late. Yeah, talking to dead people. It's boring. Because they're not dead, they're undead. They're the undead.
We're being raided by Mephisto.
Oh, Mephi sent some people over, huh? Hey, Adam McGrath.
Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn Fleming.
Hey, Limey in the house. We got Reed and him today. Is Adam still here?
No, but Andy Morrow is.
We have a lot of limeys.
Oh, look at us. And my buddy Dutch Butters is here. I saw that.
Yep.
And of course is Matt Vader.
I wish he would join us. It's been ages since he was on here.
Yeah, I miss him. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Adam, that his dad is Dominic Dunn, a prolific writer, especially crimes, and he became interested in crime writing because of his younger sister, who was in Poltergeist. She played the older sister on the show in the film, and then she was killed by her boyfriend outside her house. It was one of the things that helped lead to stalking laws in California and elsewhere. I love this, just walking along the streets of London. And I'd only been there just 3 years before they shot this. Limey Day.
My God.
What?
You and Limey Day.
Limey Day. Limey is a term of affection for me. I love limeys. I do. I love
Hey, everybody listen to Master Chief here. Click that like button, hey?
Yeah. What's up with that? And the thing I loved about London at the time that this film was made, there was still the old feel to it. They hadn't modernized a lot of stuff in London. And now a lot of those things have been torn down and changed. And it's kind of, I don't know, disappointing to see England do that. Yes, she's showing him the flat. And I got a feeling it will eventually go to the bedroom.
Looky, who's here?
Hey, Nadia is here. We're going to be doing the third Evil Dead film, Army of Darkness, this coming week. It's going to be fun.
Why is it on a Tuesday, though? That confused me.
It's not. Nadia and Greg are prima donnas. They're difficult to work with. They're always pissing and moaning about everything, and I can't do it, and things like that. They're not as relaxed and chill as I am. It is. I don't know, man. It's there's something girl next door about her. Dude, I had many experiences because I was there in '77 when the riots were going on between the punks and the Teddies, the biker gang. And oh boy, I've got a few stories. Moondance, Van Morrison. That was actually supposed to be used for the transformation scene. But he always wanted to have Blue Moon. So in the film, they used 3 versions of the song. And they have the Lounge Lizard one, the rock version right here. And then they have the, I don't know what to call it, bebop or whatever. It's like with the bomb, 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 sound.
Yes, bebop.
No, I know you did. Greg was the prima donna on that one. But don't act like you're not either, Nadia.
She has every right to do so.
I enjoy doing shows with those two. We only do one a month, and I think it's fun every single time. I have a blast. And when I'm hanging out with them, I forget I'm doing a show. It's sort of like when I'm on Toxic Tuesday, I kind of forget, oh, that's right, we're live. There's an audience.
Those are the best shows where you forget that
yeah,
you're doing
it's like Tom and I will start going at it with stuff, and then Brian will chip in and red shirt, and God, I love doing this stuff with those guys. Well, that's the problem. We're ADHD, so it's like red button,
squirrel,
dog, squirrel, because we never actually talk about the movie. We do. I think we did better on the last one, to be honest. But I've noticed something that, like with Mephisto, now Mephisto and I can sit and talk about a movie. Whereas the first 2 times we hung out, it was like ADD theater because we were kind of just getting to know each other. Oh, this scene, because he's turning gray now. Uh-oh, fight's breaking out over Ginny Agutter.
They make peace.
But Ginny Agutter is gorgeous. I've been a fan of Helen Mirren ever since she played Morgana. I mean, my God, that's such a great film. I better talk quietly in the house about that. The fuck is that? Nadia, perhaps you'd like to watch telly whilst I take a shower. Helen Mirren? Oh, she's gorgeous, man.
No. His personal Helen.
Oh, like his girlfriend? Oh, well, I don't doubt it. I mean, what you do, Glenn, and you did it smart. You got yourself a beautiful girl while you were still good looking.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's why I'm lucky with you.
What, because I tolerate you even though you're old and grumpy?
Old and dumpy and gross. She's fucking hot, mate. I'll tell you, Glenn, my favorite magazine when I turned 16, Mike Beatty, one of my oldest friends on this planet, bought me a copy of a British dirty magazine called Playbirds. And oh my God, that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Oh, that's okay, Meph. Glad you're back. You gonna join us?
Yeah, hop on here.
I'm on the process of sending an invite.
So, we go from relationship to relationship in this film. But this is, I think, one of my favorite parts of the film because they're falling in love, and this adds to the tragedy of the story. And every good werewolf film should be a tragedy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, buddy. You have a good night, okay? Stay safe.
Oh, but
Oh, then he's here.
You lied. You're not going to bed.
I am going to bed. I just wanted to say that if I don't go to bed, I will actually turn into a werewolf. I blame Culture Casino. He made sure I was up all night talking to him for an hour.
He's such a good dude.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. I would just like to say that this movie has a great song that was used in The Color of Money. It's basically Werewolves in London. And it was used to a better effect in The Color of Money while Tom was gyrating and jiving, both sinking balls into holes and having to use his Q as a Jedi weapon. And if you haven't seen that, if you haven't seen the Color of Money, go watch it. It's tremendously an underrated Scorsese movie.
I like the movie a lot. I know that I thought it was funny how Tom had made a huge mistake by choosing his wardrobe without knowing about the weather. And Paul Newman kind of poked fun at him for it because he was freezing in some of those scenes. I have a question for Glenn. Glenn, I got that photo. Can I share it on the show?
I think that's the idea. He wants to show.
Okay. All right. I see what he said. So here you go. This is your typical British guy with a beautiful woman.
Oh, cute.
He's such a nerd. He has a bow tie on.
I was going to say, notice that the bow tie is actually a tie and not a clip-on. Because if it was a clip-on...
Yes, that is a real tie.
Yeah, that is a real tie.
And by the way, that is the one tie I never learned to tie. I don't know how to do that. Probably take me an hour to learn, but... Okay, here we go. The doctor is doing the cop's job of investigating.
Gerry.
I wouldn't. No, I'm good at tying ties. So anyway, this is where the doctor goes and investigates and begins asking questions because he believes that there's something to the case, but he thinks it's, psychosis or something. But he starts to learn that maybe there's more to it, that, maybe these people made him believe something. That what do they call that? Not mass hypnosis. What's that called when
hysteria? Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. That they got him to believe this out of panic.
Question: is the guy supposed to be the substitute for a Van Helsing kind of a character?
I don't think. I mean, you could say that that's what he is, But in this, he is just a caring doctor who's trying to find out what's going on. And he does, by doing so, does the police's job for them because they're bumbling idiots, which is why it's so fucking funny when the lead detective, the DI sergeant, whatever the fuck he was, gets his fucking head bit off unceremoniously.
What's his name again?
What's whose name?
The doctor's name?
The actor's name or the character's
No,
name?
the character.
It's Dr. Hirsch, and he's Jewish.
Oh, it's Dr.
And he is-
Sleep. Okay, I need to go to sleep. No problem. You didn't get the joke.
I got it.
Seriously. I love you guys. I would love,
I love you
to
too,
stay.
buddy.
But I haven't seen the
Well,
movie
thanks
in
for
a
popping in.
long while, so I wouldn't even contribute anything to it. But yeah, it's always a pleasure. Maybe I'll be here on Wednesday. All right, I'll try to be here on Wednesday evening. All right. Until
Sounds
then,
good, buddy.
boys and girls, goodbye and good night.
Bye,
Stay
Mev.
safe. Bye, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my good friend Mephisto. Oh, yeah, right. Gotcha.
Nah, it doesn't work on me. So don't bother. I hate all kinds of ties.
No idea Color of Money was a sequel when I first saw it. I accidentally found out when I was watching Hustler and was like, wait a minute. That's funny. Oh my God, that's funny. I like that. Oh, she's still beautiful to this day. Helen Mirren and she aged so gracefully. Oh, Penny is back. Penny is here. Penny.
She's with her baby granddaughter.
Aw.
2 weeks old.
I like this where he goes in the mirror and goes, it's funny now, but
he's invited, Gerry.
Now you have to invite him.
Yeah, damn it.
yeah, he brought it up the other day. Hope I'm going to be invited. I told him probably going to be just her and me and a judge. Because I'll be convicted for loving her so much.
Idiot.
We shall give you life.
Yeah, I want to be legally miserable with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got that when I was watching it. It's kind of a parody. Yeah. No, I don't doubt it, Adam. I don't doubt it. Burping granddaughter. You've not seen a girl burp until you see my daughter do it. Anima's
That
finally seen
is
it.
true. Oh my God.
She will fucking pull one out and she'll just go. This little petite girl, so gorgeous, just belching like an old man. It's great.
You raised her like that.
Well, yeah, she was raised around Mac and Ultra Robin, Sean, and the guys. It's like all these guys, were her uncles.
And she still turned out great.
She's amazing.
She is.
Blows my mind how awesome she is sometimes. I'm like that, proud papa says, I made that.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there. You got Mickey Mouse sitting next to him. I always thought that was so fucking weird, the Mickey Mouse just sitting there. He goes outside and he's like, am I going to change? It's going to happen. He's nervous, apprehensive. And then he's just sitting there reading. And the song starts. And then all of a sudden he's screaming, ripping his clothes off because he's like, I'm burning up. Yeah, I think the one that tripped me out, and I don't know who taught her, was when she cupped a fart and threw it into Ultra Rob's face. She was like 4. I'm like, who the fuck taught her that? And I looked at Mac. Mac's like, don't look at me. And Ultra Rob's like, I didn't do it. I'm like, who the fuck taught her that? I still don't know to this day, and she's forgotten. She doesn't remember ever doing it. Yeah, we go to this scene. It's so cute. And then the camera moves up to the window to show the full moon. And we cut back to screaming and the gnashing of teeth. And
Speaking
this
of
is
the
Moon
full moon,
Dance, as I recall, right?
Did you see the moon last night, Gerry? It was huge.
No.
It was a super full moon. But it's
So
like
here we
really
go.
close.
Head's killing him. He's ripping his clothes off. And this was something planned from the very first time he wrote it in 69, was that he wanted this done as one shot and in bright light, like, terrible lighting. He said he wanted it to look so natural instead of a conceived scene. He's begging for God to help him.
He's in so much pain.
And you see through the transformation what Rick Baker does with the spine and the bones and this is so painful. But the big difference was that Rick Baker wanted to do a bipedal werewolf when he was thinking about it, but Rick Baker was told by Landis from the beginning, no, this is a wolf, a giant evil devil dog. That's where he broke the fourth wall right there. And I didn't understand why they did that and left it in, because it was weird. Oh, this is the single greatest transformation scene in the film, because we go through it gradually. And the way he did a lot of this is Rick Baker started with all the fur and worked his way back, shooting it, so that he didn't spend a few days doing it. He was able to do it pretty much all in one day.
Yeah, because all he had to do was trim it.
Trim it a bit here and there, and then boom, they get back to where it starts.
And the funny thing is, to begin with, he had a bare chest. He's not a very hairy dude.
Yeah, he's not a
They
hairy
needed to put
man.
a lot of fur on him to make it look good.
So this is the actor. Okay. There's one bit. They're such a cute couple, and she's so ditzy sounding. And they're actually, I think, the first victims. And then the guy in the subway. And then the old geezers. Yeah, this is the film, Nadia, that got me interested in practical effects with makeup, because this was the year that Craig Edwards and I, the guy from, who used to produce this show, but worked with Pee Wee Herman and other TV shows and movies. He and I started doing makeup effects, and I learned how to make molds. And then I fucked up and I did a plaster of his face and didn't put enough release on his eyebrows or eyelashes and pulled some out. I mean, I tore him off. I just pulled it off. I'm like, once I felt the tension, I'm like, okay, I've got to get this off of him. And he's mumbling to me, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he went, sorry.
I hope he kicked you really hard for that.
No, but he held his face. Oh!
That shit hurts, man.
I think it's some kids or something. It's funny. And I got to tell you, really, the attacks are quick. He doesn't like linger on the attacks.
No, he's not playing
He
with
gives
his
us,
victims.
yeah.
He's
Well, the
brutal.
directors who I'm talking about, he doesn't linger on these victims, to really, because he understood it was going to be violent and gross. So he just did quick shots, and I like the way he did that. The slowest shot is the subway scene where it's just walking towards him. Doesn't need to run. It's got him. And he's going up the escalator, looking down. You see it come into frame, how big it is. And then it cuts to the POV coming up to him and then cuts away. David has suffered a severe trauma. If all the villagers believe that it was a werewolf, then he's going to believe it. And that's what he really thinks is going on. So he doesn't think that he's insane. And he's kind of letting her know he's not insane, but he's suffered a trauma.
Well, we just had it in the subtitle, deranged state.
Yeah.
It describes it
That
well.
he could be manic or something, but little does he know this shit's for fucking real. Here are the homeless guys. And this was apparently very disturbing to the audiences in England, seeing this. According to Landis and Rick Baker.
Why?
I don't know. They just were really affected by this scene. It's not Winston, mate. Look, there was something. Now we cut to the subway. So he kills them. And he moves on to the subway. And this movie, by the way, Vic, and everybody watching, this movie stands up to this day in its visual effects. I mean, practical effects. The way he shot it was the best way to shoot these scenes at the time. It's like, even when you see the werewolf running through the streets, he was nervous that he showed too much of the werewolf.
Yeah, because he loved it so much. He wanted to show it all the time.
But once you get to the back leg, you can see the armature, and he had to be careful how they cut the scenes. And I like the way he reacts here. He's like, I don't find this in the slightest bit funny. I'm going to report this. He goes on eating his candy, walks away. And then when he turns a corner, you get the POV of the werewolf coming around a corner. And that's the shot where you can see the airplane ad. And the poster he's standing next to is for the porno we see later in the theater that John Landis made for the movie. It's a fake porno. God, I loved walking these things, but it is a labyrinth.
I never feel comfortable in subway stations. There's so much ground above you. How can you feel comfortable down there?
Well, I was never claustrophobic until I realized when I was having an MRI. And then I went, oh, fuck, I have claustrophobia. Because that shit never bothered me. Being in closed places never bothered me. That fucking bothered me. And here it is, that scene where he begins walking out. And the way they did it, they did this whirlpool effect where they had a guy who was a dancer who had a very strong core. And he would plank his body, and then they would tie his legs to a plank. And they would walk him in the costume with the arms, and then two guys working with the guy carrying the board would work the legs, the back legs. So everything from the waist up is the actor in the costume. It was brilliant. And then he wakes up in the fucking zoo in the cage with the wolves. And they're like, hey, bro, what's up? Looks like you got some kill last night, motherfucker. Yeah. Ooh, we got one butt, Martin. We got one single butt. I think we're okay.
Yeah, but it's a male butt, so it doesn't count for.
It doesn't count. Sure, we'll ask YouTube how they feel about that.
Wait,
later.
No, they don't
male
care
asses
about
are
that.
allowed and females are not?
Yes,
Yeah, the
yes.
sexist bastards.
I don't know why it's that, but we don't count.
So
It's this thing
he's
with
trying to
Nick-
figure out how to get out of this place because he's naked and he's hiding in a bush. And he sees this kid with balloons. Oh my god, it's so fucking funny. An American stole my balloons, Mom.
A naked American.
Naked American. Oh my god, that scene where she's like, "Oh," and he goes, "Sorry," and turns back around and go back into the bush. Oh my god, this is so fucking funny. Fucking animals watching him. There he is with his balloons. I'll give you £1. He's got no money. He's lying to this kid. Takes his fucking balloons. I don't know who you are.
He's just being a good kid. Don't talk to strangers.
I'll explain it to you. Thank you. And just takes off with his fucking balloons and he's smiling. The kid has a grin on his face. And he goes to his mom and tells her, a naked American stole my balloons. I love this thing. Man or Monster, you see that, the Daily Mirror. You catch it?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows it's David. He just knows it is. But he still thinks that David is having a mental episode from what he went through from his trauma.
It's the logical explanation.
And the naked feet. I fucking love this shot. It's like the bus stop, and then he's like the naked feet, and he's wearing a woman's coat that he stole.
He looks great, though. Come on.
Oh my god, this is so fucking funny. I was losing my mind laughing in the theater with my dad. My dad was chuckling at it too. He thought it was funny. I feel great. Because he left the windows open. That's right. And she, of course, she's a nurse. She's worried about him. I'm having a mental episode.
I forgot that she's a nurse.
Is he rational? He's very horny. Oh, that's quite normal for a male his age.
Jesus Christ. Stop talking about yourself, Gerry.
Look at him, he's all over her. He's rather enthusiastic. I love that line. Straight to the hospital, you understand?
He does not want to go anywhere.
Now, he wants in somebody's pants, is what he wants right now.
Yep.
Because he fed last night and he's feeling really good. But she takes him for a walk.
You made that sound like he's a dog. Takes him for a walk.
Wolves, dogs, the same family, canine.
Okay.
This leads to the great scene there at Piccadilly Circus, where he gets out and he finds out about the murders. Yeah, he finds out about the murders.
They have so much trouble shooting this.
That is Bricktop.
Yep, there he is.
Many wrinkles ago.
In one of the interviews that we watched, they talked about how difficult it was to be able to film that scene with the bus. And they eventually were allowed to do that. And after they cleaned up the whole scene, the police told them, "You're faster than us cleaning up that shit." I find that funny.
Alan Ford is, because we've had him on video here on the channel, where he's like saying the nasty shit about I'm the cocksucker. He's very good at the cussing. Tries to get arrested. That's enough, mate. And then one girl goes, "You might be playing a prank," you know. And this leads to the theater scene, the porno theater, Eros, which was a real place. And before it was Eros, it was a cartoon theater, which I went there. And sadly, sometime after I left, they turned into a porno. Yeah, apparently. What's up, Sander?
What does he mean by that? Are you saying they're lazy? They don't want to make arrests, or what?
No, they only arrest you if you make mean tweets.
Yeah,
Oh,
mean
okay.
tweets or say something critical of a culture that's trying to take over your country.
Oh, gotcha.
Cops are like, we'll find him. The fucking bumbling lieutenant here. Fucking. Because this is what London looked like when I was there. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret that I only found out today, that for the big accident scene with all the cars wrecking, that was not really Piccadilly Circus. It was a set that they built that went up one story, so the cameras wouldn't shoot above that line.
Yeah, because there's
And-
always traffic on Piccadilly Circus, so they just couldn't shoot all of it there.
So I was really flabbergasted to learn that. Red phones. Loved those when I was over there.
Do they still have
Telephone
them?
call, a local telephone call in 77 was 2p.
How do you even remember that? That's so random.
Because I remember what a pain in the ass it was to get it, not a penny, not a hay penny. Hay penny is half penny, but a 2p. A penny that was worth 2 pennies. Like, what a pain.
I remember
Happens.
pay phones, and then the money always ran out too fast, and you were fumbling to get more coins. God, I hated that.
It's one thing I've always said about America and pretty much everywhere in the world: get rid of the cents and just stick to, round up or round down, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, that's with every currency, though.
So this is where he attempts to self-delete and he can't do it. And even if he had, there's a possibility that he probably would heal before he could die. He would have to find another way. So there it is. See You Next Wednesday is the adult film. The fake adult film that they're showing in this theater. And the theater is very compliant working with him.
I miss Ariel bitching about how everything is backwards, the writing.
Yeah, where is Ariel? I hope she's okay.
I hope
Oh,
so.
she's in Las Vegas.
Oh, she's having
Yeah.
fun then.
No, she had to, her family moved to Las Vegas. I think it was something with related to health by climate.
Oh, okay.
It's very dry there. It's a good
Mhm.
place for people with asthma and COPD.
She told us that she would be completely back in the chats within a month.
I'm
I
looking
look forward
forward
to
to
seeing
that.
her again. Ditto.
She's fun.
Unlike some of you,
Mm. Which
Fuck you,
reminds me, I have to address something very seriously. No jokes here. This comment. Sax, you will never get a video from me.
You fucked up, Sax. How dare
Man,
you? How
how
dare
dare
you?
you, Zach? I did tell you so, you schmuck. And as I was saying earlier, some of you might not have been here. This is a scene that Griffin Dunn was very concerned about because he felt that he wasn't getting enough him on camera in this film for people to know who he is, or that it's him. And so they had designed, Rick Baker designed makeup for this. But what they discovered was that when you put makeup on, you make the head bigger. So it didn't look good. He needed to be getting lighter, thinner. So he had already designed the animatronic head. And it's manipulated by several people, but they let Griffin Dunn, in order to help him feel better about not being physically on camera now, to control the mouth. So he's the one who runs the mouth and makes it move when he's talking. And he learned to be a puppeteer right here in this scene. And originally, this is supposed to be a cartoon theater when he wrote it. And what was supposed to happen is two kids run up to him while he's transforming, and he yells to get away from him. But they changed it to an adult film, so it's like some slaggy looking dude walks up to him, run. It's too late, mate. And I love it when the Bobby walks in with his flashlight and you get the first really good shot of the werewolf's face as he's munching down on this guy, and then the head comes up and looks at him and he goes, fuck, and turns and runs. Starts pulling the gate down. And right after he gets it down, too, is when the wolf slams into the gate. And eventually it hits it hard enough that it goes through right into the throat of the DCI, the Kappa. Yeah, and he does that when he's talking to them. Why are you doing this to me? He wants to be nice to you. We're doing this because, when you die, we can finally move on. We're trapped. We're undead. And I love it when the husband and wife are like, they're so polite. We can do it with a rope. Or maybe a gun? With a smile on her face. You must have died. And his fiance, there they are. These are my two favorite victims.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story. Anima, you want to tell it? About them eating between scenes? They had to go get some chow.
No, you tell it.
So they were so gruesome with this makeup, with the fresh looking blood all over them, that they were asked by other people there in what they were using as a commissary to please move out of view of the other customers or whatever. So they had to sit over to the side, and while they're eating, little bits of things from the gore was falling into their food, and they kept having to pick at it. And for some reason, it made the guy start laughing. He thought it was hilarious, and that made her laugh. Are you a copper, Adam?
Either that or he was arrested.
Or as Neil would say, I'm a pig, man. On the young ones. Because he becomes a cop, a Bobby, in one episode. So silver bullets aren't essential.
In this case, yeah. No.
It's night. Too late. He had his chance. I love Piccadilly, man. It's really beautiful at night with all the colors, especially if the road's wet. And if you've never seen the little bits of the porn, it's great. It's so funny. And the whole transformation takes place over the sound of the one female actor faking having an orgasm. You hear somebody scream. He goes, "What was that? I don't know." And the big joke is the guy breaks into the apartment in the adult film. Okay, he says, "Oh, I thought I told you never to do this again." And the male goes, "You never told me anything." "Not you." And she's like, "I don't know you. I've never met you before." And he's, "Oh, sorry." And then he exits because he's in the wrong apartment. Mad Dog tearing. Yeah, calm down. Yeah, he's going to get freaked out in a minute. He comes right out and just pulls that gate down. Fights with it for a second. That was a scary moment. And I don't think that was acting. I think he slipped. Yeah, you get that shot of that freaking... And Rick Baker sculpted it to look evil. Like it's always angry. Then he comes running out after seeing it chowing down on that usher. Could you imagine being an usher in an adult theater? Ugh.
Gross.
Well,
Yeah.
could be worse. You could be not the usher, but part of the cleaning crew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, that's usually what ushers do. Usher's job is also cleaning up. So now they're like blocking this fucking gate. Some kind of animal. Yeah, the detective inspector comes walking up. That thing comes right when he walks up, the thing comes right through and bites his fucking head off. The head goes rolling over the... And that led to a funny moment because Landis was trying to give direction to the crew. He says, "I want you to throw the head onto the hood and let it roll over." And they all keep looking at him like, what? And then he calls for action, and they're all not sure what to do. And then he calls cut, and he grabs the fucking head, walks over to the car. He says, "I want you to throw it here so it'll roll over." And they went, "Oh, you meant the bonnet." They didn't know what the fuck a hood was.
Oh.
Yeah,
Cam is here.
he never had communication problems until he filmed in England.
Hey, Cam. So I saw this in the theater, was way too young. Thank you, Uncle Gene the Marine. The best werewolf movie ever. Got to do this on my date. Have fun. Alrighty. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, look who's here also.
Hey, Batman's girl.
Hey, Vickman's girl. Tom brought up Ghostbusters a little bit ago. It being in line with films that had horror elements that included comedy, the comedy of the characters reacting to the horror and shit. Yeah, he absolutely, not just him, his producer too, who was a Brit. Or no, he's not. I'm sorry. No, he's not. Yeah, today they would do it all with either in the round or they would do it on a set with green screen. Yeah, things I learned about the British from being over there. Don't say fanny, because fanny means nothing to us in America. It's just your butt, but not in England. See, over there, you guys say cunt, and it means nothing. You're like insulting a dude. But boy, oh boy, you say fanny. That's naughty. But it's even getting bad over there for the cunt word over there. People have created a stir with woke people over there they need to stop saying that. And this leads to one of the greatest scenes in a horror film and a great scene in any film. What an ending. SWAT is called out. Armed, I forget what the British call them. They're not SWAT, they're armed response team. I think that's it. Armed response team. And so they pull up with their, I think H&K 91s. They might have FNs. I'm not sure. They're big round weapons, not round it like this, but have big bullets. The boot. That's right. Absolutely, Adam. I've called all my friends that all the time. Because I use it in the British way. I have one buddy from London. He's from the East End, and when he comes here, I have to go out with him because nobody understands him. I have to translate what he's talking about. It's funny. Ricky Cheka. Yeah, there you go. Armed response. That's what they're called. Is it you, David? And she felt so uncomfortable delivering this line because in her mind, she has to be thinking of David, not that she's looking at a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for her to do that scene.
Yeah, and then she says that line that could be so bad if it weren't for the emotion of the moment. That she says, "I love you." And for the first time you see the werewolf, his face softens for one moment. And then he goes back into a snarl and goes to attack her. And they blow the shit out of him. Not in a good way.
And I don't think he means to attack her. He knows that he's going to die.
No, I think he knows he needs to. I think he's aware enough that he does this in order to end it.
Yeah, he's not doing it to kill her. He knows that they are going to shoot him before he even reaches her. And he needs to die.
It's bump, 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 dun, bump, 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 ding dong. Blue moon. That's it. That's how it goes in. That's the intro. And she sees him because now he's human, and she sees him with the bullets. And you wonder, because he was in shadow, did she even see him as the werewolf? She just knew it was him. And you wonder, I wonder to this day, did she just not see it? And that's the end. The great fucking ending.
She saw the werewolf, but she knew it was him.
And so,
I don't know, man. This is one of my favorite films of all time. Not just like a werewolf film, but one of my favorite films. And don't get me wrong, I like The Howling too, but it's further down the list. I'm a big fan of John Landis's work. I am. I like Animal House. I love Blues Brothers. This was his third movie. And I thought he was going strong. I think that the thing that hurt him was doing Twilight Zone, the movie, because he ended up having criminal charges put against him for the death of Vic Morrow and those children. And I felt that it was less his fault and more towards the executives that were pushing him to work these hours they weren't supposed to be working. I've always felt bad for Landis. It's one of the many reasons I don't like Steven Spielberg. because I felt that a brunt of the blame should have been on him, and he walked away scot-free. So, I love those eyes up there. That's a cool painting. Just a big fan of this film. I can't tell you how much I love this movie because it's beyond normal to love a movie this much. But I do. Top 3 of all-time movies for me, guys. What, his first 3 films? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think this movie is in his top 3.
Oh, in his top 3. It is, and I'm pretty sure it's number 6 on my list. My top 10 will never change. Because they all 10 of the films were films that had a huge impact on me. Yeah. It's a film. If somebody wants to watch it, man, I'm ready. I'll go. I'm ready to go. So, but that's it, guys. That was fun talking about this movie. Thanks. I'm glad Tom popped in. I think he forgot he's still in here.
Yeah, he forgot.
He's off doing something else right now.
Yeah,
it was really nice for
computer.
Chinatsky and Mephisto to drop in, talk about this film. But I guess I will do my thing now. Let me get to the branding. I got to get over to that fucking mirror. There it is. Now I do this. And then I do this. Ooh. And then I go look at the list. I see Penny. I see Snorts. I see Andy Morrow. I see Read by Nature. I see Tom Baker. I see Andy Masterson. I see Tim. I'm not even going to say your online name. I'm just going to say Tim because we all know who you are. I see Adam McGrath. I see Vic Fontaine. I see Midnight's Edge After Dark Tom, who's also somewhere on screen with us. I see my buddy Zax. I see RRTNZ. Let's see. Dutch Butters, also known as Matt Vader. War Monkey. Glenn Fleming. Spartan 117. Sander Hammerschlag. My good friend Nadia. Cam's Crash Courses. It's good to see you. And of course, Vinkman's Girl. It's always nice to see you. So, and then I see Tommy, and I see Billy, and I see Mandy, and I see Death. So, yeah, this is my romper room moment. It's dumb, but fuck
I have
it.
a question
It's fun.
from a new subscriber.
Oh yeah, God bless you, folks. I'm going to subscribe now. Which movie are we watching next, dudes? Well, Wednesday we're doing the New Salem slot, which we're going to be shitting all over it. We're going to be making fun of it for all of its fuck ups. And then what are we doing next Saturday? Because that's Tom's my show next week. I don't remember.
Give
Do you guys?
a second.
I'm trying to find that out.
No,
because
we
I
don't have
usually give him a
anything for
chance.
next.
Yeah, I usually will talk to him like Tuesday. I go, okay, we got to figure something out by tomorrow. And so we usually know by Wednesday what we'll do for Tom and Gerry.
It's not set up yet next Saturday.
No, we don't have nothing yet. But for this Monday, on Military Monday, we have Predator. Aha!
Yeah, that'll be Military Monday. So I will be talking about it from a military perspective as well as just talking about how awesome that fucking movie is. John the Beagle Dad, glad you enjoyed listening to the show today. Let's see. Exorcist 3 Legion is definitely on my list of things I want to talk about because I love that movie. And I prefer the theatrical cut to the director's cut.
I don't think I will watch this.
Is Tom still alive? Yes, he is. He's probably eating or something. Vinkman's Girl. When you get to be my age, death stalks you. Looks around. Death. Yes, there you go. For because I'm over 60 now, so I just sort of go. I don't care.
Are 60.
It'll happen when
Don't
it's
make
gonna
yourself
happen.
older than you are, Gerry.
I am now over 60. On May 19th, I turned 60. Everything past that is over.
Oh my God, I'm with a
So-
grandfather.
I am. I'm a grandpa. I have a grandchild,
I know.
and she's adorable. But anyway, hopefully my daughter will have a kid in the next couple of years. I really do hope so. I'm tired of my kids having cats and going, well, there's your grandkids. I'm like, oh, okay, I love you, but fuck you. I want kids. Okay. Not something I got to clean the litter on like once a week. That's not a child. I love them. That's not a child. But thinking, because talking about this with like Anima, like she has cats and she treats them like her children.
I have one
So,
cat.
Just the same with dogs. You can have surrogates, and you're very loving towards them. She took care of her kitty, and if you guys didn't know, we did lose Loki, not YouTube
cat
Loki, but her cat Loki. He passed
It'll
away.
be 2 weeks tomorrow, and it's still.
Yeah. But she also got to meet some new cats. She got to meet my friends, Ivy and Nix. Both black cats. It's just like in real life. I have black friends. I have black cats, I gravitate to black. I had to turn that racist. I'm sorry. I just have nieces and nephews to spoil. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. That's awesome too. I've always been a good uncle, but all my nieces and nephews are adults now. So I don't get to play with them. So, but that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show today. I love talking about movies like this. And don't forget, look, Brits, men, they don't age well. They just don't. Love you, Glenn, but you're so lucky. And his wife reminds me of Isabella Rossellini. Tell me I'm
Yes,
wrong.
a little. Yes, she does.
And boy, she was gorgeous before she became insane. Hey, Tom's back. Hey, man, what's with the full beard, the Van Dyke thing, man? And why are you wearing glasses like me now?
I've always wore glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're starting to look nerdy like me.
These are just
Am
like my
I-
old black ones, only they're clear.
I like that. But are you farsighted or nearsighted?
Farsighted or nearsighted.
Nearsighted. I was saying because your lenses are thick. That's usually for people who have trouble
I'm a
seeing far
nerd.
away. Geek. I say it right as I push my glasses up on my nose. I will swap you the Blu-ray for a genuine tube ticket from Tottenham Court Road. If I was there, I don't know. That might be a good deal. But we are going to get the hell out of here. Tom, thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Any ideas what we should do next week, Tom?
Sorry, what was that?
Any idea what we want to do next week? Because we don't have anything scheduled yet.
Probably something Halloween oriented. I'll have to come up with something. here.
Absolutely. Critters, something like that, you think?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure I'll watch something this week. Will make me go, oh, let's talk about that.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. We will let you know what we're going to be doing next weekend on Tom and Gerry. But once again, Innocent Blood is on the list for Anima and me. And I'm looking forward to her seeing it because it's a vampire film and she likes vampire films. There you go. There you go. Coke bottle glasses. There you go, Tom. So, all right. We're the fuck out of here. Hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. Don't forget that like and subscribe. And if you get a chance to, leave a comment. Let us know how much you enjoyed the show. And if there are any films you want us to watch, post it in the comments down below. With that, fuck off and have a good day, everybody. episode is brought to you by Underwear.
Y'all come back now.